lovely people, it's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room, and I have been burning the stash metaphorically this week in a big way. I've got 2 finished objects. I'm wearing one of them. It came out big. I told you it was going to come out big, didn't I? It's come out pretty voluminous. It's kind of cropped. It stops probably at my hip bones there. I'll get up on a chair in a second and show you. This is the Faraway jumper by Iron Lamb, and I made this with Lion Brand Heartland. I'm not sure how much I used in the end. I haven't weighed it. Should have weighed it, shouldn't I? So I could tell you how many skeins I used. But I used this turquoisey blue as the main color, and then the red, rust, and gold as the contrast. And I knew my gauge was off. I was using a worsted weight yarn, not a DK, and I was using a 5mm hook, not a 4mm hook. So I should have just made a smaller size, but I didn't. And I may well make this sweater again in a smaller size because it's actually rather nice. I'm not 100% sold on yoke sweaters. I like the idea of them, but sometimes I find they can look a bit frumpy. What do you think? Do you think yoke sweaters are frumpy? I suppose it depends how you style them. And I'm crap at styling anything, so I just throw it on. So, whatever. I ended up not doing any ribbing on the cuffs and the hem. Just get up on here. So it comes down to here on me. Yeah, pretty wide. I added the extra band of colour down near the bottom. I did not put any on the sleeves. I didn't add any on the sleeves. At the point I got to the sleeves, I was pretty much done with this sweater. And it was like, just get it finished. Because I am a finisher. Don't like them hanging around too long. So I'm happy with the neckline. Again, a downside of yoke sweaters can be that they are a bit wide in the neck. This one's not too bad. And if I made a medium, it would probably fit a bit snugger. And they can be a bit drafty. So you might want to make a matching cowl, you know, to add a little warmth at the neck. But when you're my age, you tend to overheat sometimes. So having a cooler neck is sometimes a good idea, at least indoors, not outside. I hate having a cold neck outside, but indoors, yeah. So I had to, because my gauge was off, I had to mess around with the rows on the sleeves a bit. I didn't do as many rounds. You do this in turned rounds so that it's basically a reversible fabric, because your granny stitch goes right side, wrong side, right side, wrong side, because you're turning underneath the sleeve and also at the back of the body. It is a little voluminous here, especially. Obviously the boobage tends to fill out the front quite nicely, but the back tends to be a little, you know, puffy. A smaller size would probably fix that somewhat. But I do prefer raglan sweaters, and I don't think I have found a raglan sweater in a granny stitch, at least not yet. Maybe I need to design one. Anyway, it's pretty toasty. It's -4 out there right now. I live in British Columbia, Canada, and so it's been a really mild winter so far, but every night this week we're going to be about -5, -6, something like that, and the daytime temperatures I don't think are going above freezing, which, you know, it's January. There's no snow out there right now. It's actually quite sunny. So the driving's good. I do like a bit of snow in January, you know, make you feel like it's actually proper winter. I had a coffee morning the other day for some friends, and they came over and we drank gallons of tea and coffee as usual. I also made some plum streusel cakes, one gluten-free, one not. And that went down well. And there was some arty stuff happening and some knitting and crochet happening. And one of my friends brought me a belated Christmas present. This was one of the things she gave me. It's basting glue. It's a fabric glue pen. Now this would be excellent for English paper piecing, which is something I feel like dabbling in again. Maybe one day. And it came with some refills. 3 little packs of refills. So that should last me a long time because I won't be using too much of that unless, of course, I start an EPP quilt. The other thing she gave me was this. What do you call that? It's like a locket thread cutter. There's a blade in there. And so you can wear this on a pendant around your neck and you can cut your threads without needing scissors. Quite handy. Oops, onto the floor. And also this bee. The bee is a magnet, has a magnet backing. And I think it may be designed for being a needle keeper for cross stitch, possibly, or anything you want it to be, really. You could magnetize it onto anything. It's not a super strong magnet, but it would work for a cross stitch kit, definitely. You could put the back of it behind your work, the bee on the top, and just rest your needle on there and it would hold it in place. Well, the body is really pretty though. So that was a couple of new acquisitions this week. If you saw my tutorial video that I published earlier this week, you'll know that I made a few zipper pouches. It's been a long time since I did a tutorial. In fact, it's been a long time since I sewed a zipper pouch. I got a little burnt out last year sewing for the market. And for a long time there, I just didn't feel the excitement of it at all. In fact, I had to really push myself to make these because it just felt like a chore. But I was really glad I did, and I enjoyed the process, and I made the video. And if you haven't seen it, it'll be the one before this one on my channel. And I called it the Mabel. So this is the Mabel zipper pouch. And I made it in 3 sizes out of this really cute pig fabric. And it's nice and padded. It has a zipper that snaps to the side seam and opens wide for putting things in without having to struggle past the ends of the zipper. I put a pocket in it, in them, put pockets in them that are snapping closed. So what I'm going to do is I am currently in the thinking phase of making a video for afterthought pockets for something like this. Because sometimes you realize after the fact that you really wish you'd put a pocket in there, or you want to have a detachable pocket, or whatever. So I've got at least 7 ways to do that. And I'm hoping that I'll get to do that video. It might not be till next weekend. I'm working quite long hours this week, and my next free day is Friday. And then next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'm out of town. So I'm hoping to get that tutorial done Friday. We'll see. All depends on how organized I am. And now for the big ta-da. This is the ta-da I am really excited about. The stash blanket that I had started last time I vlogged is finished. It took me 6 days to make a blanket that's about 5.5 feet across. How did I do that, you may be asking? Well, I ignored the fact, firstly, I ignored the fact that it might hurt my wrist or my thumb joints, but I was fine in the end. And secondly, I was using a 12mm hook and 3 strands of yarn. What I did, I got my big bag, my big pink pumpkin bag. I don't know if you can see that down there. And I organized my DK and worsted stash by color. So I packed the bag so that the purples were at the bottom, the pinks were next, the blues were next, the greens were next, the oranges, and then the yellows. And then used them up as they came. When it got to that big, I decided not to use the greys. I'll use the greys for something else, but I do have quite a few of them. So now that I have made this 4.5 pound blanket, 2 kilos, just over 2 kilos that weighs, 4.5 pounds. Now that I've finished that guy, I'm going to spread it on the floor here, and I'm going to take all my stash yarn and put it on the blanket. And we're going to have a look at what's left. I don't think there's going to be that much unless there's stuff I've forgotten about. But you know, in here I've got what is my yarn stash, and it's not that much. So I'm going to have a look at it, photograph it, probably do a stash flash on Ravelry. But first we're stashing the flash. Bleh. But first we're flashing the stash right here. Okay guys, here it all is. I'm standing in the middle of my round stash blanket, which I forgot to tell you was the No Wool Left Behind pattern by mijocrochet, Johanna Lindahl. And we're just going to do a little 360 here. This is all of my yarn and a couple of whips. We're going to zoom in a second. Show it a bit more up close. Let's start with these white balls of Drops Saffron and Drops Paris, 100% cotton. Bought them to try out some dyeing. That rainbowy stuff there was one of my experiments, that green and yellow thing, the blue tie-dye look stuff, the orangey one. I noticed the orangey one is sort of a work in progress because I was making a little baskety thing, which has been sitting around for too long. Right here we have some leftovers of Scapious Truly Scrumptious Aran in a right old mess. I'm going to have to be doing some good tidying when I put this away. Here we have 2 balls of lovely fluffy stuff. Now I don't usually like faux fur, but this is called Spindle Butter Soft. It was a Fabricland brand, so they changed everything to Taylor. And this stuff sold like hotcakes. I wore my cowl made of this yesterday, and it's just so warm and soft and fluffy. It's lovely. These would be really quick to knit up into a couple of cowls, or I don't know, make a fluffy toy, or maybe the fluffy brim on a hat. Super quick once I've decided what to do with them, so those won't take long to use up. A few tiny scraps of Scapious, what was that, stone washed. I bought that pack of all the minis once of the stone washed and river washed, and oh my goodness, that was fun to use. This messy pile here is Scapious Soft Fun, which is a cotton acrylic blend, tons of colours. Again, I think that was 3 packs that I got as a yarn advent that I created for myself a couple of years ago. Another Fabricland brand, Spindle Essential Basics. Got it super cheap, $3.30 a ball. Made myself a Sporto hoodie out of that, which I really enjoy wearing. It's nice and soft and warm and cuddly. And I've still got 3 full balls of it. Again, that won't take long to use up. There's some other worsted greys that didn't go into the big blanket. My 10-stitch twist whip, along with the ice yarns, Sweet Baby, that still have left over. Not sure how long it's going to be before I use that up. This has been languishing a little bit lately. This is the Festoon Shawl by Dora Does, which has been marinating or hibernating for over a year, I think. Sock weight yarn, not my favourite. Fiddly, extended single crochet. Ugh. I think that might get frogged. So, random worsted weight yarn. Little bit of stuff left over from a lovely chunky cardigan I made. Can I remember what that is? Ooh, no. Some pretty stuff left over from other things. Can't remember the name of it. Pile of Brava worsted. Again, bought a set of mini ones. Lots of different colours. Again, needs cleaning up. Serta jewel spun. Aaron, left over from a couple of balls I bought just because. Lion Brand Heartland. Didn't realise I had so much of the rust. Look at all of this. So much. Let's just tell you exactly what the colour is called. Yosemite, that's the one. This turquoisey blue is Glacier Bay. And that was the one I used for the main colour for the sweater I'm wearing today. I've got the black, I've got this blue. I think I might be making a peaked or billed knitted cap for Mr. Stitches. He wants a warm hat that has a bill to keep the rain or snow off his glasses, so I think that blue might be the one. It'll match his scarf. The red, the purple, the green. Yeah. So as you can see, a lot of Heartland. It'll definitely get used. I'm not just going to use that up for the sake of it, because it's too nice. All right, now we're on to a whole bunch of natural fibres. There's a lot of cotton in here. There's a little bit of linen. There's a little bit of bamboo. These ones here, minis from the dollar store. Super cheap, 100% cotton for making amigurumi or whatever. What have we got? We've got a little bit of scapious. Cannot read that. Hold on a second. Linen soft. A little bit of something with a bit of glitter in that I cannot remember the name of. A lot of drops muscat that I bought from a yarn shop when I wanted to buy something, but I've never used it, and that was a really long time ago. A lot of this. Now this is, oh boy, I cannot remember what it is. I'm going to have to look it up. Might have it in my Ravelry stash. I cannot remember, but it's a lovely cotton, and I did crochet myself a top-down yoke sweater using this in blues and some yellow. The name will come to me. A little bit of this glittery stuff here. This is, I think, a universal, something universal. It came from Hobie, and again, fingering weight. Very pretty, but still haven't used it. These three I bought and made a shawl out of. Yeah, can't remember what that was used for either. It'll all be in my Ravelry project pages. The dishcloth stuff. Again, stuff from Fabricland. When they were putting the stuff on sale, I bought the dishcloth cottons and the scrubby polyester stuff. When I tipped this out, I found this dishcloth that was already made. I love these dishcloths. I went through a phase of making 2 of these circles and then crocheting them together with the cotton and then building it out from there. I use these all the time. Best of both worlds, absorbent and scrubby. I kept this one probably because I have tons of my own and I was probably going to give it away. Yesterday I made this Tunisian crochet simple stitch one, just to use up some stash. And I also made this one, which is just, I think a single crochet circle made with one strand of the cotton and one strand of the poly. So that is an ongoing dishcloth project. I think I'm going to have one bag for ongoing dishcloths and another bag for ongoing amigurumi. And then these granny squares, you may recognize these. I bought some of the all-in-one granny square yarn a while back. These are the squares I have not yet made into anything. I did make myself a couple of things out of this. A top and one of those sort of fanny pack type bags. And I bought this solid Super Saver so that I could use it to join and to add any extras like straps and things with the solid. Haven't used them all up yet. They've been sitting in the cubbies up there. They would definitely get made into something. Tiny bit of gold thread that's just there because I needed to make a crown for a paper bag princess that I was crocheting a long time ago to go with the book. So here I am standing in the middle of all my yarn on a lovely squishy blanket that actually would make a good rug too because it's so squishy and nice to stand on. But I don't really need a rug. I don't really need another blanket either, but you know, it might get given away sometime. Or I might give away one of my older ones and this will take its place. I don't know. But hey, you just don't know. The heating might fail on you one day, and between the heating failing and the heating and air conditioning guy showing up, you might end up needing a pile of 10 blankets just to keep yourself warm. You just don't know, do you? Yeah. I think I'm going to put this away as neatly as possible, back in the cubbies. And that'll be that. A little bonus segment here because I have got everything off the floor and put away again. And then I realized I forgot to take a photograph of my Ravelry flash. Oh well, you guys have seen it. That's what matters. So I'm just going to show you how it's all been put away and how I've organized it for future use. Firstly, let's take a moment to admire the lovely blanket, which covers that armchair beautifully. Okay, in the Yarndale bag, what do we have? All of my dishcloth cotton is in there, and my scrubby polyester stuff. So this is now my ongoing dishcloth project to get those things finished up. This is my random acrylics basket. Say hello to the chickens. This is a whole bunch of knitting and crochet tools and my knit picks pattern holder and that sort of nonsense. Here we have a whole bunch of the cottons and bamboo and scraps of linen and stuff like that. So that's my natural fiber basket. Above in the cubby, we have the Heartland. Mr. Stitches has chosen the colour he wants for his hat, so that has gone upstairs. Here we have the Super Saver with the coordinating granny squares, which I must make into something. The spindle yarn, the faux fur. This basket, this rather pretty flowery basket, which I vlogged the process of making. How long ago was that? That was over a year ago. Is now holding this whip, the 10-stitch twist by Frankie Brown. This project bag here is absolutely stuffed full of the minis. So this is going to be my amigurumi kit. It's a very large amigurumi kit and it probably make hundreds of little doohickeys at some point. I've got my white drops yarn behind there, and in here I've got my hand-dyed drops yarn, which may well end up becoming dishcloths as well. It's not the sort of cotton I'd want to make a garment or anything out of. And then this cubby here has my larger pieces of quilt cotton and my Free Spirit Fabrics fat quarters. And then of course we've got the quilting stash above, except for my batiks, which are in a different place. I know we're talking about mostly yarn today, but let's just have a quick peek at the batik stash. Turtles, all sorts of beautiful colours. More turtles. Some of the turtle fabric I got from Maui when we were there the first time, staying in Kihei. And most of the fabrics here come from Fabricland. I used to grab them when they were on sale or when they were remnants. And as you can see, I am rather enamoured by them. The bonus is Mr. Stitches also loves batiks, so he has no objection when I want to add a bit extra to the stash. And if ever I need to make him something, I know he'll like it if I use something from this drawer. Oh, it's so deep I can't dig into it with one hand while holding the phone. Yep, that's my precious fabric stash, batik stash. But I think we're all done for today. That's probably enough chat, and we're all up to date. So I'll see you again really soon. Thanks so much for watching. And yeah, if you're interested in making that zipper pouch, just look for the previous video. It's called a Mabel zipper pouch for cross-stitch projects or whatever you want to put in it. See you again soon. Bye.